On a chilly day in South Central Georgia, we welcome you to the newly renovated, newly repaved, and newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the action is about to get hot and heavy in a hurry. ESPN, the worldwide leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Today, it's the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series season finale. The Reese's 400 coming to you at Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. Well, with one event remaining, the championship has been locked up, but Mark Gibson finds himself just 10 points out of third spot, and Bobby Gerhardt trying desperately to hold on to a top 10 finish. We told you the championship's been settled, but still a lot more at stake here today as we check it in the garage with Bill Weber.
Well, few drivers have been able to tame a track the way Tim Steele has tamed the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And few drivers have been able to dominate a series the way Tim Steele has dominated ARCA. With his smile and his style, no one ever has been able to match his strength or his speed. He's won races and championships. He won 12 races this year. And at Talladega, he sewed up another championship, clinching it in Illinois. Today, the ARCA field is lined up on points that normally would put Steele at the front of this pack. But they say nothing can stop the man of steel. They're wrong, because the concrete wall here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway did when he was testing a Winston Cup car for Budmore Engineering. Steele crashed, he injured his ankle, and he suffered injuries to his ribs. Today, he's a spectator, and he'll watch this race, and it will be Frank Kimmel who will lead this series to the green flag. Second in points, but number one on the grid. It's a fast field, lined up on points, putting super speedway guys at the very front of the field, and putting some small, short track guys in the middle. And then there are some surprises further back in the pack. And for more on that, here's John Kernan.
Phil, 2 years ago, Andy Hillenburg won the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Championship. He started out this year with a bang by winning the race at the Daytona International Speedway. However, Andy has just raced part-time on the ARCA circuit this year, so he starts back in the 17th position today. You know he's got a good car, so we're going to watch Andy Hillenburg try and charge his way to the front. A lot of guys in the Winston Cup garage are going to be keeping a close eye on this race. For the reason why, here's Kyle Petty.
We're here at a brand new racetrack. Everybody watches what goes on at a brand new racetrack, but to compound that problem, there was no practice of any kind for these ARCA guys on Thursday, nothing but a little bit on Friday, and nothing but qualifying and practice for Winston Cup cars today. So everybody here, no matter how much we've been here, how much experience you have at Atlanta, throw it out the window. This is a brand new place. The Winston Cup guys, most of the time, they sit in there, cushy job, they don't pay any attention to the companion races, the Busch race or the ARCA race. Today, they're going to be on their buses. They're going to be on the trucks. They're going to be out here on pit road. They're going to be watching everything that goes on. They want to see tire wear. They want to see how people pass. They want to see everything. Winston Cup drivers are going to go to school on the ARCA drivers today. And it's cold out here. And let me tell you, Winston Cup drivers don't like coming out in the cold. They like being up in the booth where our guys are, where it's nice and warm and toasty.
Thank you very much, Kyle. I'm with Benny Parsons and Ray Dunlap. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. You know, Benny, we're talking about how nervous the Winston Cup guys are watching this race. How about the ARCA guys that are strapped in these cars? They got to have a lot of questions.
It's a big mystery with this racetrack. Folks, you've seen our cameras going around the racetrack while we were talking, and you said, wait a minute, that's not Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is Atlanta Motor Speedway, a brand new Atlanta Motor Speedway, newly reconfigured, a little bit more than a mile-and-a-half speedway, and speeds up around 190 mile-per-hour average. These ARCA guys, you talk about inexperience, they've run some big tracks this year. Charlotte, they've been to Atlanta, they've been to Talladega, but they're really not ready for this racetrack. I'm not sure the Winston Cup guys are ready for this joint.
And Ray Dunlap, they've been coming here for 14 years to finish off the ARCA season. A lot at stake here today.
Oh, there really is, Jerry. You know, over the years, there have been some great names go to victory lane here. People like Ernie Irvin, Michael Waltrip, Davey Allison. Big names in Winston Cup got their start over here at Atlanta in the ARCA race. But for 3 of the last 4 races here at Atlanta, it's been all Tim Steele. He's back home in Coopersville, Michigan watching. So today, there are 15 or 16 drivers that think they got a good shot at winning.
Well, our primetime ARCA coverage coming up next, but we got a huge day for you tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, RPM today, followed by a 1-hour special NASCAR Today, as we set the stage for our live flag-to-flag coverage at 12:40 Eastern Time, the NASCAR Winston Cup season finale, the Napa 500. We'll wrap it up with NASCAR Today post-race, and then RPM tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll take a look at our starting lineup and wave the green flag from a chilly Atlanta in a moment. Today's Speed World coverage of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series season finale, the Reese's 400 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. He is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Quaker State, the quality your car deserves. And by the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Our Suzuki starting lineup, 40 cars will start today. 50 came here to attempt to qualify. Up front, by virtue of points, Frank Kimmel and Mark Thompson in row one, both winners here in 1997. Mark Gibson got his first ever win this year back in September. Beside him, Bob Strait looking for win number one on the season. Back in row three, rookie Jeff Finley alongside former rookie of the year, Bobby Gerhart. Back in row four, Pontiac driver Frog Hall and leading rookie of the year contender Josh Baltus. And back in row five, Kurt Piercy trying to get a top 10 finish in the points, and beside him, Norm Benning trying to hang on to the top 10. As you look at the rest of our starting lineup, some interesting cars starting back in the pack, Benny Parsons.
Well, we have a lot of race cars back in the back that are awfully good race cars. Gary Layton's back there. Also, Kurt Shermerdine is back there. Kenny Martin is back there. There we see Andy Hillenberg back in row 9. Ed Barrier, also a very fast race car. We look at this new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not only has it been reconfigured, it's also been repaved. And the pavement, everyone is raving about what a tremendous grip these race cars get from this new pavement.
And you wonder, maybe these guys could go to school on what's happening in Winston Cup practice and qualifying. No, not going to happen. The Winston Cup cars are on Goodyear radial tires, and all these guys are on the Hoosier radial. And that's one of the differences we see right there between the two cars.
The Winston Cup drivers would love to see these guys race side by side for the entire distance, because we really, to ensure a great race tomorrow, competitive race, we need to get this outside groove worked out. Up where we see Mark Thompson, that black car on the outside, we need for race cars to race up there before the day is over.
And guys, the tires are going to be a big question for these guys today, because with that limited amount of practice, they just don't know how long the tires are going to last on this new racetrack.
Well, a fuel stop would be 65 laps. No one expects them to go even close to that as the green waves at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Quickly, they stretch out single file as Mark Gibson makes a move in the backstretch beneath Mark Thompson.
And we see some smoke, something come out of the back of Mark Gibson's car. We're right along with Mark Thompson.
That looks like Charlotte, doesn't it?
It sure does. That's a double D shape, just like Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Mark Gibson has quickly run down the 46 car of the 46 car Kimmel.
And the car number 48, we were being told, brushed the wall a moment ago. We told you they've had limited practice and no qualifying whatsoever as Kimmel pulled away by about 10 or 12 car lengths. There's the 48 car that tagged the wall a moment ago on the first lap. That is Greg Sarf out of Columbus, Ohio.
And we've got a crash coming on turn 4. A couple of cars involved. Some other cars going down through that's Rich Woodland in the 86 car.
Philip Young in the 25 also, Benny, and a couple of cars have spun here right at the front straightaway.
And the leaders are coming through turn 4. They got to get them low down. Here comes Kimmel and Gibson, and they are waving the caution flag. And yes, they will finally be able to get those cars slowed down as the field now comes by. There's a 71 car that spun across in the grassy area. Dwayne Like out of Skyland, North Carolina.
Looks like a Dave Marcus car. And there's Rich Woodland all the way from California. So he came an awfully long way for just a couple of laps.
Woodland's car's got a good bit of damage to it there, Benny, in the 86 car. I don't think Dwayne Like has much damage to the 71, but he's stuck in the grass. See if we can tell what happened here on the coming out of turn number 4.
There we see Woodland going around. He comes back across the racetrack, goes up, and here comes the 25 car Philip Young, makes contact Now the other cars will just simply spin, trying to avoid the 2 cars spinning.
Well, there's Woodland's car coming to rest. First time ever at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Former Winston West campaigner. As there is Philip Young's car. Brand new car for the second generation driver, son of Clay Young, 2-time IMSA Series champion. Under the first caution flag of today. Back with more at Atlanta Motor Speedway in a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hampton, Georgia, working the first caution flag today. An incident coming up on lap number 3. It occurred, well, actually it began in turn 4.
Here's exactly what happened as the cars came off turn 4. The yellow car on the outside, Rich Woodland, we see him going sideways. He spins. Up the racetrack he goes, and Philip Young comes along with nowhere to go except directly into Woodland's car. Now, a couple other cars will spin to avoid these cars.
Have to wonder, Benny, if the temperature isn't part of the blame here. Woodland may be going a little more aggressively than he should have that early in the race.
And on the outside, again, that outside groove is just not worked out. Something that we see the 24 car around he goes as he runs up behind 2 cars.
That's Chuck Weber out of Mesquite, Texas. He was running in very quickly on the back of a car. He spun to avoid that rear end collisions. We check in in the pits with Kyle Petty.
Well, I don't have the advantage of seeing this on TV. I'm just catching it. But the 86 immediately radioed in and said somebody got in the back of me and spun me coming up out of turn 4. The 25 comes on the radio right after that and screams, track was blocked, had no place to go, mashed my radiator, I'm coming in, it's over with for us. The 71 car, he ends up at the other end of pit road stuck in the mud, and he said a lot of things that nobody can repeat on the radio or on TV. John?
Well, Kyle, David Frog Hall out of Kansas City, Missouri is behind pit wall. He started 7th, but they had an oil leak. There was a report of some oil down in 1 and 2. Apparently came from this car's crews underneath the car now, trying to fix this oil leak. And it looks like Mark Gibson's taking the lead. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And as Gibson leads them out of turn 4, I can tell you the veteran campaigner Norm Benning pulled his car onto pit road. He was leaking fluid. They lifted the hood, looked underneath, closed the hood, pushed Norm back to the garage. Looks like his day's over.
Norm Benning was 8th in the points, but he will not lose 8th because he was 680 points in front of the nearest competitor, Blaze Alexander, who is not here today. So there's a look at Frank Kimmel from his roof cam, the Advanced Auto Parts camera, in his Chevrolet. He's chasing Mark Gibson.
Well, guys, second place on the lap leader chart this year belongs to Frank Kimmel. He's led 220 laps. Of course, that's way behind Tim Steele, but Mark Gibson really hasn't shown up that much. He's all the way down in 7th, only leading 71 laps this year, but looks like he's got a pretty strong car today here at Atlanta.
Benny, we've seen some of these guys really being careful on the restarts. You got to believe they want to get some heat in these tires before they start racing much.
Well, they want to run some laps. This is basically for the ARCA competitors. This is a very long race, and they want to get some time on the racetrack, figure out this racetrack, figure out the mystery of getting around Atlanta, and get this groove widened out before they do some serious racing. And we see there's a 75 car, Art Seeger. Looks like engine problem going in turn 3. Too bad.
Tough break for the driver from Toms River, New Jersey, Art Seeger, driving for Bob Shack in the car number 75, veteran ARCA car owner.
His first start of 1997, that's certainly not the way you wanted to see it go. It looks like maybe an engine problem.
All right, you're looking at first and second, Mark Gibson, who was finished second here back in 1990. Mark Thompson back in third.
You see the 21 car of Bob Strait as he leaves Andy Hillenberg. And there we see Jeff Finley, the 99 car, Josh Baltus as they go by Bill Baird. Or I guess actually Bill Baird, the 52 car, is going by them.
Speedy Pop Popcorn, the sponsor on Bill Baird's car. And Benny, they told me down in the garage area they're going to run every race of 1998. Bill Baird's going to try to chase the championship in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series.
There's Baird, the 52 car. Now the 18 car on the right of your screen, that is Josh Baltus. He is leading to the Rookie of the Year contention. Meanwhile, in contention up front, the lead.
Frank Kimmel, after seeing Gibson go by and pull 5 or 6 car lengths away, has closed back up on the back bumper and is actually getting off the corner better than Gibson. Bill Weber taking him, making a run for the lead, Bill.
Yep, they're going to battle door to door. Benny heading down into turn 3. And I'll tell you, these guys had a plan before the race started, but right now they're not sticking to it. Gibson had tested here. Frank Kimmel did not. And their plan was at the start of the race to simply get in single file and stay that way for the majority of the race. Kimmel has recaptured the lead. Gibson now chasing, but they want to stay single file, lead as many laps as they can, get as far away from the rest of the field as they can, and then decide it among themselves late in the race in the closing laps. Again, remember, Kimmel did not test here. Gibson did, had a lot of success. In fact, the Gibson tested here could lead him to victory lane.
There's a look at Mark Thompson riding along with the Midlake Island Ford roof camera. Mark, a two-time winner in 1997, having won at Charlotte and at Michigan on ESPN. His first two career victories in ARCA competition.
And that 90 car in fourth place, Ed Barrier, he will be, if his car will be here at the end of the race, he will be a force to be reckoned with as he goes by Thompson and takes over third spot.
Good battle right here is Bobby Gerhardt's to the outside in the Mannheim Auctions, number 85, and right underneath him is Hillenberg in the 80 car. He's going to try to make that move right in the center of the turn.
They swapped spots a moment ago in turn 2. Then the 85 went back by, and now Hillenberg comes by, and here comes Bill Baird with him, Benny.
Bill Baird is running so well. Slater was in Daytona helping out his crew. Timmy Cahoots and what have you, helping Bill Baird. I don't know that that's who's with him here.
Yeah, and they started back in 27th, Benny, so he has really come through the field to get up there to battle in the top 5.
Now he'll make a run on Hillenberg, who has driven Kenny Schrader's car to victory lane. Baird, the 52, Hillenberg, the 80, driving for Stan Hoover. That's from our Pennzoil copter cam. These shots from high above Atlanta Motor Speedway.
There's the speeds we can see as we go down. The 52 car ran the fastest lap that time, over 176 miles per hour. Gary Layton was the third fastest, a little over 174 miles per hour.
And guys, look there at Mark Thompson, who's running in fourth in the 66 car. How much slower he is. It appears there's a problem with his race car.
You know, when they dropped the green flag, Mark Thompson had a very, very slow start at the beginning of the race. And people began to pull away. You got to wonder if he didn't have a problem with the engine early on.
I would think Mark Thompson just feeling the racetrack out, trying to easily solve the mystery of this racetrack. Don't jump in there and ruin your day before it really gets started. Check everything out. Bill Baird over 179 miles per hour that time. The 52 car is clearly the class of the field right now.
There's the guy they're chasing, Frank Kimmel, in the car number 46. There's the 90 car, and they're riding along once again with Mark Thompson. Now, what about Mark Thompson's situation? Is he biding his time, Bill Weber, or does he have a problem?
Right now, Jerry, he's just a little bit loose, but they think they had all their problems here yesterday. Mark basically did not get one lap on the track. They thought it was an ignition problem, but no matter what it was, they couldn't isolate it. As it turns out, it was a problem with the coil, but they changed everything, literally everything in that race car. In fact, they pulled their backup car off the rig. And Hillenberg going by him there. They took everything out of their backup car, put it in this car, and Mark was hoping that he was going to have a good run here. That was a 52 in Baird, not Hillenberg, continuing his march to the front. And one quick thought on him. Timmy Cahoots, who's acting as his crew chief here, told him, when this green flag falls, go to the front. Don't worry about taking your time. Go to the front. They think they can win.
Well, the way he's running right now, Bill, I don't think anybody would disagree with him at all. As you see now the 80 car of Hillenberg moving in on Mark Thompson. And after Thompson's problems yesterday, limited track time, as you heard Bill Weber say, because of an ignition problem.
And Jerry, you had talked about how close that point battle is up there with Thompson and Mark Gibson. Gibson's leading the race. He's out front right now, and Mark Thompson's losing spots on the racetrack, so it has to be very frustrating because there's only 10 points between them.
Frank Kimmel is so far in front, Ray lost him. Frank Kimmel is leading the race.
Oh, yeah.
A half straight. Oh, we see a smoker there. That's something we certainly don't want to see is dropped oil. And there's a car off the pace, the 56 car. Wes Russell on the apron of the racetrack, and looks like it's done for the day for him.
Driver out of Muncie, Indiana, hoping to be able to get his ARCA career kick started here with a great run in Atlanta. We'll have a short afternoon.
And there goes Hillenberg by the 66 car of Mark Thompson.
That would be for fifth position. Now Hillenberg driving for Stan Hoover. Takes over the fifth spot. Dave Blaney drove early in the year for Stan Hoover, had some pretty good runs. That got him into a great deal for next year running for the Busch Grand National Series. Possible Rookie of the Year with the Bill Davis operation. Still early on here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 27 of 162 laps are complete in the Reese's 400. We'll be back.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hampton, Georgia, the ARCA Series season finale. Reese's 400 and Frank Kimmel in the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet trying to pull away.
And doing a pretty doggone good job of it. Started on the pole and now has about a 5-6 second lead on second place car Mark Gibson.
Frank Kimmel has 5 career ARCA Series victories, but he has never won on a super speedway. His wins have come at Toledo, Winchester, Pensacola, and this year on the dirt at West Virginia. Trouble.
Wow, hard contact. That's Bob Strait in Jack Bowser's car. Slams in the wall going in turn 1. I also think Danny Pardis was involved in the 42 car.
That'll bring out the second caution flag today. Heavy damage. Boy, it looked like he didn't hit that hard, but at these speeds, he must hit a ton. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Don't know what happened. He goes up, hits it with the rear of the car. Also, the front, we see Pardis starting to spin down on the apron of the racetrack as the cars go by on the apron. There we see Pardis on the apron as he starts to spin. And other cars just driving by. That was Mike Kiketti in the 17 car that drove by.
Boy, what a tough break for Bob Strait. They are hoping to get a sponsorship deal with the professional bull riders. They've got them on the back of the car today, and their cars seem to be running really well, but boy, it just broke away from them in a hurry.
All right, tough break for Strait, driving for veteran car owner Jack Bowser, legend in ARCA competition. These beautiful shots from high above the ultra-modern Atlanta Motor Speedway, courtesy of the fine folks at Pennzoil and our Pennzoil Copter Cam. Our primetime coverage of ARCA competition coming your way from Atlanta Motor Speedway, newly repaved, newly renovated, and my, what a competitive facility. Back with more in a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, ESPN presents Sunday Night NFL at 8 p.m. tomorrow when the Oakland Raiders take on the San Diego Chargers. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, and Jaws will all be out in San Diego. It's Sunday Night NFL, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. While they're away, they had some pit stops. Let's check in the pits with Bill Weber first.
Well, first of all, for our leader, Frank Kimmel, virtually no adjustments. He did get 4 fresh tires. They're checking the tire wear, and then they're going to report back to Frank, but that's good for his car. For Bill Baird, who's been the rocket coming up through the field, I talked to Timmy Cahuth. He said they put on 4 tires, and that's it. I said, did you make any adjustments? He goes, yeah, but nothing I can tell you about. So we'll have to wait and see how those play out. Mark Thompson was on pit road for a long time. His crew has told me his car is pushing coming out of turns 2 and turn 4. So they put in rubbers in both the right rear and the left rear. Green coming back out. Here's Kyle Petty.
The 90 car bed barrier made an improvement from 3rd up to 2nd. Had a great pit stop. 4 tires, no chassis adjustments. Tire wear looked good. Everything looked good. Obviously, he's picking them up on the racetrack and on pit road. John?
Andy Hillenberg, who started 17th, worked his way all the way up to 5th. He came in, took on 4 tires. They raised the spoiler, the rear spoiler, just a little bit. And the scary thing for these other drivers out there, Andy told the crew, the car is good, and I have more left.
And that's a good point. Now is not the time to be showing all that you have. And here's the pack of cars. Bill Baird, the car on the outside, the black and orange car, has been the fastest car so far, trying to work his way through. That's Jimmy Kitchens, the 47 car. He's trying to follow.
And Benny, just ahead of them, you see the 64 of Rick Harrell. Harrell stayed out on the racetrack and did not pit. So on the restart, he was right ahead of Frank Kimmel, but it didn't take long. Kimmel put the pedal to the floor, and he's back out in the lead.
Boy, the Winston Cup drivers are loving to see these guys running on the outside groove. Getting some rubber down to the outside.
Well, that is a great omen for tomorrow's Napa 500. Back up front, Frank Kimmel. There There is Kimmel in the car number 46, but right on his back bumper all the way from 20th starting spot is Ed Barrier in the car number 90.
And the car behind is the Mark Gibson car. We're riding right now with Mark Gibson in the Bondo Mar-Hyde onboard camera, and a battle for the lead. And Ed Barrier will go to the front. And the 46 car of Kimmel will also lose second spot to Gibson.
Sorry about that, Benny. I was going to say Ed Barrier made it look easy in this dog leg when he made the pass on the inside.
Well, guys, it's really been a great year for Ed Barrier all the way you look at it. I mean, he finished second at Charlotte and at Pocono. He had a great run at Gateway at St. Louis. He finished fifth there and a fourth place at Charlotte. So he knows how to go top 5 runs on the super speedways, but he hasn't quite seen that checkered flag in the number 1 position yet.
Told me yesterday he's planning to run all the Busch races in 1998 in the Lear car number 77. As Baird now makes a move underneath Hillenberg.
Gets by Hillenberg, goes into 4th spot.
The speed at the line that time by 178 miles an hour.
We saw Bill Baird. He ran over 100. Bill Baird ran over 176. We saw him earlier run over 179 miles per hour. Once he's clear of traffic, as he is now, I think he will once again start gaining on the leader. Here comes Gary Layton, the 74 car. Gaining on the 80 of Hillenberg now. Back to the lead.
There's Ed Barrier. Our split flyer snapshot shows he started back in 20th spot, currently first. It was as far back as 16th.
Car coming off of 4.
Heavy contact.
Down the middle, 1 and 2, Frank. Back her down, back her down.
And Billy Venturini has crashed down in turn 1. About the same spot that Bob Strait crashed.
Looks like his car, the Simon Hayes, you can't even read on the backside there, Benny, so it maybe even hurt a little bit worse than Bob Straight's car was.
The rear bumper, we see the rear bumper literally knocked down to the ground. I don't think the car would roll if he can start it up because the rear bumper is dragging the ground so heavily.
Now you recognize the name Billy Venturini. That is the son of former 2-time ARCA champion Bill Venturino. Billy just 21 years of age, 10 races running in 1990.
He's mad at somebody.
Boy, very angry at somebody going by. So obviously there may have been some contact there. His best finish 5th at Charlotte just last month in October.
The car is owned by Ed Renzi, who used to be with McDonald's Corporation, and is looking forward to racing the ARCA circuit with Venturini. And Billy is hot. He's waiting for the guy to. Ever see Mark Thompson? He goes right through on top of the crash. Luckily, this was a 1-car crash. I'm surprised as fast as these cars are running that we aren't having more multi-car crash. Good news, just single-car crashes.
Good grip on the racetrack. There is Billy Venturini's car, and 3 cars go beneath him. Watch the evasive movers. He comes all the way down across the racetrack, some 60 feet. That's how wide the track is in the turns, 55 feet down there.
Well, guys, it was a 17 car of Mike Cicchetti that was right behind Billy Venturini as Billy goes into the wall, and you see Mike there coming through the picture frame. And you're right, Benny, right down across the racetrack.
Man, that was so close. These ARCA drivers are getting better because in years past, that would have been a 4 or 5 car crash.
All right, now we're talking about people watching this race because of what could happen tomorrow. Kyle, there's some interested onlookers down there, right?
Look, I told you there was going to be some interesting guys watching this race. We got a guy that's right in the thick of the Winston Cup points deal. He's not in the truck. He's not relaxing. He's not laying on his bed out there in the coach watching you guys on TV. He's up on top of the truck seeing what's happening. What do you see so far out there?
I see the fast groove on the bottom. It's a 2-groove racetrack. The bottom where they're running fast, and the outside groove what you run in while the fast guys pass you. That's about what I see here. I was surprised in practice. I thought that it was going to be more comfortable working on race setup than qualifying, and actually I was very uncomfortable. We had one of the quickest cars in practice, but you know, there's a lot of room to work yet. We've got to get our car where we can hold our foot down.
Well, that's Mark's perspective on it. Now, he's running for the championship. Bobby, come here. Here's Bobby. Now, Bobby's freezing. Hold on. We're on separate trucks here, so we're going to get a good view of this, okay? I'm going to lean. I would only do this for ESPN. I want you to know that. Lean between trucks here. Okay, what are you seeing out there right now?
I just got up here, but I was kind of watching to see where guys are passing each other because I really don't want to get off the bottom myself, but it looks like some of them are going the outside a little bit and going okay. But just trying to watch the racetrack, see what it's going to come to, because it's all new again. You know, it's just not the same Atlanta. So just trying to watch it and see what I can learn a little bit for tomorrow.
That's two totally different perspectives from two really great race car drivers. We're going to find some more people down here that are standing outside in the cold before the day's over with, guys.
Well, I was impressed with the acrobatic move of Kyle Petty leaning between two semis about 15 feet in the air to talk to a couple different drivers. Great job, Kyle. Now they're talking about tomorrow, who can pass where. I think they both agree that the low line on the inside is the quick way around. We'll show you what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll all start at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, RPM today. Then our 1-hour special, NASCAR Today, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where we'll set the stage for our live flag-to-flag coverage of the 38th running of the NASCAR Winston Cup season finale, Napa 500. Then post-race, NASCAR Today, the results, who finished where, what, and why, and then RPM tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time to wrap up our day in motorsports. Back with more in a moment. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves.
These are the Hoosier radial tires that Frank Kimmel's team have brought to pit road here for this race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. They brought 8 sets of tires. That's a lot of tires, especially for an ARCA race. But they're concerned about tire wear. Originally, the window for a tire was about 20 laps. I just talked to the crew. They said now it might be up to 35 or 38 laps. But you can see every tire back here is a sticker tire. Now, Mark Gibson, who's having a good run, is a threat to win here. He scuffed his tires yesterday. He thought that would help him. Kimmel said he wasn't sure it would. So you've got two schools of thought here. Kimmel going with sticker tires throughout the day, and Gibson, who has some stickers, but also some scuff sets that he has put on so far and has those ready if he needs them later. So Benny Parsons, who's going to have the advantage, stickers or scuffs, and win?
I would think at the end of the race, the stickers will probably have an advantage, but you're talking about tire wear. That's something else that the NASCAR Winston Cup teams are very, very concerned about, is tire wear.
You know, when they tested here back in September, as we restart here on lap 47, the most they could go was 29 laps, and the same way with the Goodyears and the Hoosiers, down there gotten to about 30 to 35 laps. The best estimate I've heard from Winston Cup crew chiefs for tomorrow is possibly 40 laps. And one car erupting an engine, and that, of course, is Bill Baird. Looks like possibly an engine has come apart as smoke blew from beneath that Chevrolet. What a tough break from a young man who's come from all the way from 27th starting spot to 5th.
That was a tough break. He had a great run going, but it's gone away. All for naught. The caution flag is out because the ARC officials will go back and check out. Make sure there's no oil on the racetrack.
And Benny, it was a really good break for Gary Layton, who had started right behind Bill Baird. He has worked his way all the way from 28th up to the top 10. He was running 5th or 6th on the restart. And when the smoke started coming out of Baird's car, as you see right there, Layton backed off.
Never see Layton that Ray was talking about, the white car. He said, please don't put oil, don't spin in front of me. And all that happened. All the good things happened.
Boy, there's some frustration there. And certainly, what a bad place. I mean, it couldn't happen in a worse place. Just right in the middle of turn 2, coming off that turn. What do you expect the turn speeds are here, Benny? If they're running 178, 179 average laps?
I would guess they're probably running around 170 miles per hour through the middle of the turn.
Wow.
That's really, really fast for this racetrack.
Wow. Talk about a racetrack. Take a look at this beautiful facility here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. What a job Ed Clark, Bruton Smith, and all the staff have done here. This beautiful shot's courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam, the fine folks high above the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We are 30 miles east of downtown Atlanta, hot Atlanta, and boy, what a job they've done with flip-flopping this racetrack.
Folks, all this stuff is new. That's all the garage areas. That's the ARCA garage. The Winston Cup garage area. This is all the old front stretch. This used to be where we did our booth, our show from. That's all the suites had. Check all these grandstands, suites. What a marvelous facility this is. It marvels. It just ranks us right up amongst the best on the circuit.
And Benny, what is wrong with all of these people who are sitting outside in this great grandstand today? I mean, a freezing cold day, but a great crowd on hand at Atlanta.
Well, how about that? I mean, a great crowd. They know the kind of hospitality they're going to get when they come here, and you don't expect anything. Take a look at those condominiums, and this crowd on hand to watch ARCA Racing. Bruton Smith knows exactly how to treat the folks, and they love coming to his racetracks. Back with more from Atlanta Motor Speedway in a moment. Well, back back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, completing the 4th caution flag today. An incident in turns 1 and 2 involving second-generation driver Billy Victorini. Green flag waves. Restart here on lap 51. That caution out for 3 laps.
Hillenberg, Jimmy Kitchens. 56. There's the top 3 cars. Gary Layton in 4th spot. And Frank Kimmel making a move on Mark Gibson. Not able to get by. Ed Barrier, the 90 car, is leading the race. Gibson in 2nd. This car, the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet, Frank Kimmel in 3rd.
And if you're not familiar with the numbers of some of these ARCA cars, the 90 is Barrier. You see there the Gibson, the 59. Kimmel is the 46. You heard of Gary Layton, the 74. And Hillenberg is driving the car number 80. To help you identify some of the cars that you may not be that familiar with.
Battle for the lead. Gibson goes by. Kimmel goes by.
Mar-Hyde.
Made it look pretty easy, didn't he, Benny?
Made it look real easy, as a matter of fact.
One car slowing on the racetrack, car number 64, Rick Harrell out of Lambertville, Michigan. Jim Eloff racing forward. He will head toward the garage area.
Well, Rick's a 2-time ARCA Lincoln Electric Midget champion. He won the title back in 91 and 96, but looks like that car may be done for the day also.
Good battle up front, Ford and Chevrolet. 59 is Mark Gibson, former Rookie of the Year, and also a former Rookie of the Year, Frank Kimmel, in the 46 car.
You know, guys, I talked to Mark Gibson just after the drivers' meeting, and he won the race at Gateway at St. Louis this year. That was his first career win. He has been so close so many times, and he said, you know what? He said, that was a really great victory, but today's will be even better.
Gary Layton.
What happened to the 64 car Harrell when we check in his pits with John Kernan?
Jerry, what I'm being told is that smoke inside the car, he said it smelled like an electrical fire, so apparently an electrical problem for Rick Harrell, so he has pulled it in.
And there's Andy Hillenberg in the car number 80. That's the red, white, and blue numeral car number 80. That's 80, 66, and 33, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
There goes Hillenberg back another spot as Thompson goes by. Here comes Harris Devane.
Georgia Peanuts, the sponsorship on Harris Devane's car. And, of course, he was 3rd in the points back in 1996 in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series. But in 1997, a very limited schedule.
What's going on with Andy Hillenberg? His car slipping back a little bit, John Kernan.
Well, you remember around lap 30, Hillenberg came in, took on 4 tires. They bumped up the rear spoiler. They also made an air pressure adjustment with the tires. The car was a little bit loose. It continues to be loose off the corners. And so Andy has told his crew, hey, I'm not going to take any chances. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm just going to ride it out. We'll fix it on the next pit stop. Let's go to Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm sitting here with Bill Barrett. I got 2 questions for you. One, you started back in the pack a little ways because you didn't have qualifying and stuff, but you'd worked your way into a good, solid top 5 run, man. You were knocking them down. What happened out there?
Well, you know, Kyle, we just yesterday in practice we was like a mile and a half faster than everybody else, and we really feel good about this race. And don't know, something just let go in the motor, you know. And hey, we're gonna run the whole ARCA season next year, and everybody knows we're here now. And I just want to say thanks to everybody back home, my mom and dad, K-Tech. You put a heck of a motor in here. Whenever we find out what happened, they better watch out whenever we come back.
Well, that's my ESPN question. My race car driver question is, what's a racetrack like to pass on and stuff? What's it like? None of us have been out there, and we hadn't talked to anybody from out there.
My car was a little bit tighter than it was yesterday, and we just made a change on it this first pit stop, and got caught up in a little bit of lap traffic on the first lap after the caution, and we started to, you know, go forward in it, and that's racing. The car's in one piece. Can't wait to Daytona test and get started next year.
Well, like you said, he's going to run the full season next year. I think we'll be talking to him a lot.
All right, Bill Barrett coming all the way from way back in the starting spot, 27th to the top 5 before that engine let go.
And Jerry, everybody says, well, what do these guys do in the off season? You know, there's such a long time to Daytona. Well, they go to Daytona to test December 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So just before Christmas, they'll be back at it, getting ready for 1998.
They're taking a look at Mark Thompson in the Phoenix Midway Island Ford Thunderbird.
We'll see Kenny Martin in the 50 car is closed up on the back bumper of Andy Hillenburg. This is Kenny Martin's first year on the ARCA circuit.
Spotters are telling us there may be some precipitation. You see a little bit on the lens there. They had even rumored there may be some freezing rain, even some snow flurries in the Georgia area. South central Georgia and Atlanta. We're about 30 miles southeast of Atlanta, Georgia. They were calling for snow even over in Louisiana, over in the Shreveport area. So unseasonably cool weather, and we have just seen a few droplets, and that's about all. Fortunately, hopefully that will just stay away as we have 102 laps to go.
And we saw some rain on the lens of the camera. A shot from the copter cam as he rides high above the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Well, 20 laps now to the halfway point. 162 laps, 81 laps will be halfway. We are 61 right now, so take a look at the windshield from these cars, and whoa, slips and slides.
Boy, I thought he was going to keep it off the wall, guys.
That was Mark Gibson in the Bondo Mar-Hyde onboard camera. Looked like he got just a little bit high up in the corner.
And you could hear the car just chattering as it rolled down across the racetrack. We were just cutting inside to show you some droplets on the windshield. He goes in the corners, and the back of the car just comes right out from underneath him. Boy, what a tough break for Mark Gibson.
I wonder what that smoke is off the rear tire. Maybe that's the overflow from the radiator. I guess that is. Here we see Gibson goes in the corner. And looked like the car got loose getting in the corner. He goes up. He nails the gas, trying to keep it off the wall, but no, can't do it. He just smacks the wall with the right side.
So Frank Kim will come underneath him there. Look at a different angle.
And then we see him go in the corner. The car gets a little bit loose. When he chases it up the hill, he never can catch up. Here he just nails the gas, trying to keep it out of the wall, but can't do it. Bam! And that, folks, was a very, very hard lick.
All right, folks, sit back and listen. This was gonna hurt. Grinding to a halt, and the sheet metal all pushed in. Mark Gibson.
Oh, he's very slowly getting out of that race car.
You see him reach down and sort of hold right side of the ribs there. You got to believe that car slammed flush with the right side, and now the safety crew is very gingerly helping him out of the car.
Guys, in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series, they keep a separate set of points for the super speedways, and Mark Gibson has won that championship in 1997. His car owner, Kerry Shearer, will get the bonus for that, but boy, they'll have to take all of that money and put it towards the repair of this number 59 because they really whacked the wall.
40-year-old Mark Gibson out of Auburn, Georgia, being helped from the car. Here is one of our lead cars who was running in second spot. Ed Barrier is headed to pit road toward Kyle Petty.
Yeah, these guys were getting ready, and all of a sudden they come back and they say, oh, the main thing isn't screaming, let's clean this windshield. There's water all over the windshield. Changing right side tires. They had a great pit stop last time. They come in running third or fourth, went out running second. This time they're going to lose some positions because not many people pitted. This is a gamble. See what the weather does. Changing left side tires, basic pit stop, putting on stickers, not scuff tires. That's about all that's going here, John.
Down in Andy Hillenburg's pit, Stan Hoover with a big chassis adjustment in the left rear. They're going to change right side tires only. Remember, that car was just a little bit loose. Another chassis adjustment in that right rear as they try and get the car tightened up. Let's go to Thompson's pit, Bill Weber.
Well, Mark Thompson is in. He's got his right side tires on. They've got left rear now fixed. They cleaned the grill. They made a wedge adjustment on the right side. They're going to make sure that tape's on there because some of these guys are complaining that their engine temperatures just aren't warm enough. So they made sure the tape was on, and Mark Thompson heads back out.
I think, Bill, they actually put a few pieces of tape on the grill of Mark Thompson's car, trying to bring that water temperature up to normal.
All right, working the 5th caution flag today, doing a horrendous lick by the car number 59, Mark Gibson, up in turn 4. Fortunately, he's been able to walk away. We'll try to talk to him when we come back. Tuesday, November 18th, it's Major League Baseball's expansion draft. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays will take an identity right in front of your eyes. The building process started 2.5 years ago. Both teams have foundations like Arizona prospect Travis Lee, but it's mass construction November 18th on ESPN and ESPN2. Here comes the leader of our race down pit road, Frank Kimmel. Coming in as he headed to you, Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, now most of the front runners had already pitted. Frank Kimmel's crew had decided they were going to stay out because they thought the rain was going to continue and that this race may not resume. They also had 18 to 20 green flag laps still left on their tires. Then the rain let up. They got one to go. They said, come on, we can get in, we can get 4 tires, we can get back out, and we can still win this thing. So now Kimmel comes in. They've got an extra man across the wall to clean the windshield. He'll get right side tires. The plan was to add half a strip of tape to the front to try and raise the water temperature. That'd be the same half strip of tape that they took out on their previous pit stop. So far, no move in that direction. Now they've got the left side tires on. Now the tape goes on the front grille. They slap on that tape. It's going to fall off. It's not on there very tight, but Kimmel does have his tires, his fuel, and he's back out on the track 70 laps into this race.
Well, 4 tires by Jeff Lemons, Frank Kimmel's crew chief and crew. Fresh tires could be important. Almost don't want to lead this thing the way things have been happening so quickly here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll show you what brought out the latest caution at the expense of Mark Gibson.
Mark Gibson running second in the race. On board, listen. Wow.
Set for the restart here, lap 72. We are 9 laps away from the halfway point.
Oh, and look at the cars diving 3 abreast as they try to get restarted. The good news is, and Hillenberg is going to go 3 deep. No, surely not, Andy. Hillenberg on the outside of Mark Thompson as they try to go, both cars try to go by a slower car. There we see Kurt Shelmerdine and Kenny Martin. Ed Berrier in the 90 car trying to work his way back to the front. Yeah, sanity prevailed back there. There's single file.
Well, that's the 18 car of Josh Baltus in front. Excuse me, Jerry. He's the one that Hillenberg was thinking about going to the high side. Right now, he's got a good battle going on with Ed Berrier. Oh, that's Kenny Martin and Berrier right there.
Kenny Martin in the 50 car, Berrier in the 90. They are side by side. Ford Thunderbird running 3rd and 4th. 33-car Harris Devane being shown as the leader, the peanut farmer from Cuthbert, Georgia. The 3-car left side of your screen, that is Kurt Shelmerdine, former crew chief for Dale Earnhardt. All those years with Richard Childress, and now an off and on ARCA competitor, former pole sitter here at Atlanta Motor Speedway a few years ago.
Well, Harris Devane, who's leading the race right now in the Georgia Peanuts number 33 car, finished 5th here back in the spring. But as I said, he's had very limited competition in 1997. He ran here, Daytona, and Talladega. So Harris Devane's got to be enjoying leading the race.
Kurt Shelmerdine will lose 2 spots as Berrier goes by. Kenny Martin goes by. Tell you what, this excavator guy, Kenny Martin, running pretty doggone good. Folks up in Cleveland, Ohio will be very excited. Mark Thompson, the last black car in our shot. So he tries to work his way back to the front, currently in 5th spot. And there's the battle. There we see the 66 car.
Sneaking in on the halfway point. Halfway would be 81 laps of 162.
And we've got a battle for the lead. Harris Devane, the 33, is being challenged by Berrier, by Kenny Martin. And Berrier goes by, takes the lead.
Pretty interesting interesting here, Benny, with no qualifying for these guys. We had talked about how jumbled the field was right from the start, but how about Kenny Martin making a charge from all the way at the back?
37 starting spot.
Talking about the car number 50 of Martin starting back in 37th, now being shown in 3rd position. Barrier the leader, Harris Devane in 2nd spot. The car number 33, the soybean and peanut farmer. Then comes Martin in 4th. Shelmerdine is Martin is 3rd. Shelmerdine 4th.
Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet of Frank Kimmel right now moving back up into the top 10. And Benny, I was a little bit concerned about them pitting right there because they would be marred back in traffic, but with that fast of a race car, he's getting right back towards the front.
And the good news, he has 4 new tires. The bad news is he had to start last on a restart, but you're right. He's worked his way back up into the 8th spot. Meanwhile, still we got a battle for 2nd spot.
Well, look at Martin getting a run in on the 33 car of Devane.
And he'll try to get a run off the corner, get position, can't quite do it.
The 50 car is owned by Bob Schacht, a longtime competitor in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series, and Kenny Martin, as you said, Benny, from Cleveland, Ohio.
And we see that Gary Layton that time had the fastest lap. Frank Kimmel back in 8th spot, the 2nd fastest, and our leader was in fact the 3rd fastest car on that last lap.
What about Gary Layton, John Kernan?
Well, in the last caution period when we saw a lot of the guys up front pit, Gary Layton stayed out because Frank Kimmel, the leader, stayed out. Gary wasn't sure if pit road was open or not, but he had been feeling a vibration in the car, and when they took the 4 tires off, they found the right front tire had equalized, so that caution came out at a really good time for them. And right now, a lot of action going on out there in the racetrack. Can't see it from down here, so guys, what's it look like from up top?
Looked like a near miss is what it looked like to us, John. Harris Devane, when he goes down to turn 1, Kenny Martin on the inside. Harris Devane evidently wasn't expecting him to go by that fast, and up the hill he went, almost in the wall.
All right, 82 laps to go. 1 lap away from the halfway point here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Car number 90, Ed Barrier being shown as your leader. Next time by, it will be an official race, irrespective of what kind of weather moves in. This season in ARCA will be over.
Time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, folks, what you're seeing right there is a backup to the backup. That is not a show car. That is a Winston Cup race car that just arrived here moments ago from Charlotte, North Carolina, from the Hendrick Motorsports stable. That is Jeff Gordon's backup car. In case you just joined us and don't know what happened to Jeff Gordon, it has been an eventful day for the DuPont team. Earlier today, 8:30 this morning, the very first practice caught by home video from Tom Seitz in Fort Wayne, Indiana, sitting in the stands with his camcorder. Gordon comes out, Benny, trying to warm the tires, and
he's trying to warm the tires up. He's weaving the car back and forth, and he just gets it a little bit sideways. The car slides and slams in the side of Bobby Hamilton's car, ruining both his car and Hamilton's car.
Well, the home video guy, we can't give him too much. He got excited and dropped the camera right before they hit, so that's all we had from him. But they had to bring that car back to the garage area. They qualified a backup car, 37th starting position. But they had to have a backup car in case something happened in happy hour. That's why this one just arrived a moment ago here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to have it all for you tomorrow, beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern time with RPM today, followed by our 1-hour special NASCAR today. We'll set up the championship at 11:30. Our live coverage at 12:40 Eastern time with the Napa 500. 4:30, we'll wrap it up with post-race NASCAR today, and then the entire day full of motorsports encapsulated with RPM tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. Let's check in with Kyle.
Well, finally, anytime they run an ARCA race, Mark Gibson's somewhere near the front, either there in the top 4 or 5. Exactly where you were at today, where you wanted to be, running like you wanted to run, but this is not where you wanted to be talking to me at, sitting on a golf cart with a pair of crutches in your hand. What happened?
I really don't know. We went, the car was driving good. Tony made an adjustment right there on that pit stop, loosened it up for me, and I could almost flat foot 1 and 2, and I backed off a little bit when I found out how fast I could run, and just going to ride, and went down into 3, and a little bit of rain on the windshield, so I don't know if that, and I was lapping the car, got up a little high. It just turned around. I couldn't, come around once. I saved it, and the second time I just couldn't hold on anymore. Tried to steer it and thought I was straight and got back in the gas. I guess I had the wheel turn to the right a little bit and got back in the wall. But I'll tell you what, Medtrack, Bill Hope Ford, it was flying. We had one of the cars to beat, no doubt. We knew we were good. when we started the race and they made that adjustment, it was going to be an awesome car the rest of the day.
Well, he's a little bit banged up, and he's got a long time over this winter to get healed up, and he'll be back up front next year.
Well, thank you very much, Colin, for catching up with Mark. He plans on running some Winston Cup events next year, probably 4 and 5. Our restart here, lap number 94. Andy Hillenberg trying to hold off Frank Kimmel and Ed Barrier. Can he do it?
I don't think so. He might hold him off for a lap or two, but he's on worn tires. These two cars are on fresh tires.
2 car lengths.
You think it's just a matter of time until Kimmel and Barrier both able to get by.
That was Larry Clement on the radio, Benny, that told him 2 car lengths, giving him an idea of just how far back Ed Barrier is in the number 90 car. Larry Clement, one of the owners. Still 2 car lengths, Larry tells him. One other guy that's been associated with this team for a long time, Benny, is a guy by the name of Jerry Guerra. And you see on the dash right there, in memory of Jerry Guerra passed away just a few weeks ago back in Dayton, Ohio. Sitting at home watching racing on television, and he's been involved with Dan Faldorf and this race team for a long time, and everybody in ARCA certainly sending out their condolences to the Guerra family.
All right, let's check in back with Kyle Petty, who's caught up with another driver who had a tough afternoon.
Okay, I'm sitting here with Kenny Martin. You were running second when this happened. What? You took a tremendous blow. We're good to see you. Glad to see you out walking around. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'd like to say hello to the kids back home, Sarah, Andy, and Dana. I'm all right, babe. Yeah, we were doing real good. We going into number 3, and we blew the right front tire out. And it kind of ended things a little short. But man, I tell you what, I got a lot of people to thank. If you can give me just a minute, man. Stanley Lojek, he's been behind us the whole time. He's just a great guy. I got to thank him. Oh boy, Mr. Heater, Mr. Gasket, Weisco Piston. Oh, geez.
They're all in uniform there. We can read them. We got them.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, Independence Communication, everybody in Cleveland, man, I love you guys. They're all behind me. It feels great.
I tell you what, he's happy to just be out here walking around right now, guys.
Sure.
All right, Kenny Mark, just give me a minute. I'll get them all in, Kyle. Meanwhile, up front, take a look at what's happening.
Kimmel passes.
Good move, Frank.
On the outside, and you're right,
Just run a nice steady pace. It's your race right now.
That was a good move to pass on the outside.
Oh, a nice, easy
2
move.
car lengths back to the 80 car. Slowing on the bottom there.
Now, Benny, in the first half of this race, when you went high, that was when you got passed. In the second half of the race, that groove moving up, and you're actually making some passes.
Frank Kimmel is running actually 5 or 6 feet off the white line. You expect to see these guys right on the white line, but no, he's running a little bit higher as Ed Barrier goes by and takes over the second spot from Hillenberg.
Oh, very close, just a couple of feet apart at 180 miles an hour. Here's the Mark Stahl car, the Auto Bell Car Washes Rain-X machine, as he heads for the garage area.
That's too bad because Mark Stahl gives $1 for every lap completed to the Greenbrier Children's Center down in Savannah, so they'll only get today $99.
He had started way back, Benny, back in 25th, and had worked his way up into the top 10 most of the day, but I think maybe the engine let go in the number 32 Auto Bell car.
Now we are hearing, indeed, you're right. Ray Dunlap, that's exactly what happened.
Here to check this battle out for second spot. Gary Layton has been fast all day, but now he's really showing how fast that Chevrolet is.
So, Benny, I had worried about those guys starting way back, but Layton and Kimmel were the 2 that pitted late, and look who's up front. First and second place on the racetrack. Layton in the Tampico Citrus Punch car passes Barrier and takes over second.
And another battle is Gerhardt goes by Jeff Finley. Moved him into the 10th spot.
Finley, a promising young rookie driver on this series. Gerhardt, a former Rookie of the Year back in 1988.
24 points, Jerry, is all that separates the number 99, of Jeff Finley and Josh Baltus, who's out there on the racetrack. He's currently 3 laps down, running in 16th, but 24 points will decide the 1997 Rookie of the Year Championship, which is sponsored by STP.
Laps are winding down here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. There's the leader, the Advanced Auto Parts Chevrolet. Frank Kimmel, 5 career victories, trying to hold on a chilly day in southeastern Georgia and maybe get his first ever Super Speedway victory. We'll be back with more from Atlanta Motor Speedway in just a moment. Speed World coverage of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series season finale reaches 400 from Atlanta Motor Speedway is being brought to you by Valvoline Durablend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil. You're looking at Josh Baltus in-car camera, and Josh was being shown among the top 15, now being shown in 16th spot, 3 laps back.
And we see him waving frantically to the guy to pass on the outside. We're looking at the ARCA rookie points. Baltus, Finley, Russell, Pardus, and Ed Barrier.
Well, and Benny, the 18 car of Josh Baltus had to make a green flag pit stop for a problem on the car, and that's why he's 3 laps down. He's running pretty good on the racetrack, but because of that pit stop, it really hurt him. So that point battle is going to be very close when this race is over.
This battle is already pretty doggone close. We see that Gary Layton, the 74 car,
got a clear track ahead of you.
On Frank Kimmel. Does Kimmel have a problem, Bill?
He certainly could, Benny. Just 1 lap ago, he radioed in, "I believe I have a miss." It happens coming off of turn 4. He's still very fast around the track, but the car continues to miss coming off turn 4. Original speculation was it could be a valve spring. Now they think maybe a plug wire has come loose, but Kimmel does have a problem. So now the 74 car is trying to set Kimmel up for the pass, but Frank with an engine problem here, and the 74 dives inside and will have a new race leader.
Gary Layton, only 4 starts in 1997, but he has been impressive, including a win at Charlotte back on May 21st. A track with almost an identical configuration to Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Still inside.
Now you hear Larry Kim at Kimmel's spotter saying he's on the inside. Now he has made the pass.
He's led 118 laps this year, Jerry, and I'll tell you what, that's pretty impressive for a rookie. As you said, only his 5th start and 3 different races he's been out front, and now today will make it his 4th in 5.
61.
His sponsors here, Tampico Citrus Punch out of Chicago, Illinois, and the state of Washington apples. They had a shipment of apples brought in. State of Washington trying to advertise their delicious apples. Started back in 28th position.
How impressive is this?
Albemarle, North Carolina is his home, Benny. You go through that town quite a bit on your way to Rockingham, don't you?
Yes, it's about 30 miles from Ellerby, where I lived for 21 years. So I've been through there only 1,000 times or so.
He's a building contractor in Albemarle. He said he sold a house on Friday. He said if I could win the race on Sunday, this would be a heck of a weekend for me. 51 laps to go. Season finale for the ARCA cars. A lot of guys in the Winston Cup garage interested to see what's going to happen today in these last few laps here at Atlanta, including the guy who will be our pole sitter tomorrow. Right, Kyle?
Right. I told you these guys are not sitting in their buses and not inside. They're out in this cold weather. I'm standing here, and he referred to us guys as Chuck Yeagers. I only see one Chuck Yeager standing here. This man run 197 miles an hour here today. A little bit, 197 and a half. I don't even know. It was so fast, I didn't count the ... on the side of it. I mean, that's an incredible lap.
It is incredible. I mean, it's like, all right, we go a little too fast for this 1.5-mile track. You know, we don't know. I've been watching this race a little bit. They've been being pretty careful out there. They've had some accidents, but pretty careful. I've seen some guys in the second groove, but not a whole lot of passing, not a whole lot of running up there. So I know, like you, we're all concerned about this happy hour. How good can we race together out there as a group? How fast can we go? How fast do we need to go? You know, how are your tires going to hold up? All those questions are going to be answered here in 1 hour. All those questions. I mean, that's a lot to try to figure out in 1 hour, but we have to do it about every week, and we're going to have to do it here in Atlanta. But I'm pretty concerned. I don't know about you. What do you think?
I only run 192. I'm not too concerned. You're 5 miles an hour and faster than me. Right now, they're running 179, 180 miles an hour in the race pace. Granted, they didn't get a lot of practice on the racetrack. They didn't get, a lot of time to spend on the racetrack. But 179 or 80 miles an hour is still fast in Atlanta.
Well, that's still pretty fast, but, this is Winston Cup racing over here in this garage, and I'm sure we're going to be pushing that up quite a bit faster. In that little time we did scuffing tires, we could run, 190 pretty easy. So I don't know what it's going to be like, Kyle.
Well, the speed just got somebody down here in turn 1.
Well, heavy impact, Kyle, in turn 1. 2 cars involved. This one, the window net is down as the 7th caution flag today comes out on the car number 76. Spun around. That's Joe Cooksey out of Centralia, Illinois. My heavens, that's exactly what we're talking about, Benny. How hard you hit if you come from the bottom of the racetrack and go all the way across to the top.
I saw some debris laying on the racetrack. It was incredible. It looked like balancers off the engines or whatever. The 26 car also involved Rick Shepard. Rick Shepard from Mount Clemens, Michigan.
And Benny, this car that Rick Shepard's driving right there, the number 26, is actually owned by Brian Kahns, who's also in this race, who's driving the 06 car. And Brian told me they're going to have this car in a parade in Livonia, Michigan on Monday. I think they're going to have to do a little work on it if they're going to put that in that parade.
Well, a heavy impact for the wall down there for the car number 76, Cooksey. Let's see if we can watch him hit.
Heavy, just head on in the wall. And look at the debris that's flying across the racetrack. Little pieces, big pieces.
Wow. Well, the safety crews are going to have their work cut out for them here. And I've got to believe most of these cars that want to get on pit road and change tires. Oh, the car came up off the ground, maybe a foot and a half off the ground, and hit about a foot up on the wall and then looped around 360 twice.
There's some of the debris that I was talking about. Oof, heavy contact.
7th caution flag today, coming out on lap 115 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll check on the driver and pit stops when we come back. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, this could possibly be the final pit stop of the day here on lap 116. 3 leaders headed down pit road at 45 miles an hour. Let's go down to John Kernan.
The leader of the race, Gary Layton, will hit his pit stall first. His crew will come around. We expect him to change all 4 tires, not make any chassis adjustments. But the one thing that they will caution him once they go back to green is, Gary, take it easy on the tires, because when he has run them really hard, he's only been able to get about 30 laps, and there's 46 left. Let's go to Frank Kimmelsmith and Bill Weber.
Frank Kimmel continues to suffer from an engine miss, but they are not going to go under the hood here. It is 4 tires. They've made an air pressure adjustment on the right front. So Kimmel gets his tires and his fuel, continues to rev the engine. They're hoping the engine problem goes away. The 90 is away. The 46 is away. The 74 now slowly pulls away. Still waiting on Mark Thompson, who's having trouble getting his left side tires on. Kimmel had the best stop. So we'll see if their strategy works out and see if he can overcome that problem in the engine compartment.
And now, Benny, they have to be careful not to run back through that debris down in turn 1 when they're trying to clean up the racetrack.
That's a very good point. They want to get as high as you can and try to get through the debris without puncturing a tire, because then once the green flag drops, you won't realize you have a flat tire. The green flag drops, you go on the racetrack, then you find out you have a tire, and you can lose a lap coming in changing that flat tire.
All right, cleanup continuing down in turns 1 and 2. They have a flatbed over to pick up the Cooksey car. We'll come back and get ready to green flag it again here from Atlanta in just a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, still under caution. Join host Mike Tirico and his team for NFL Prime Monday at 7:30 p.m. Monday night. They tackle all the NFL news and highlights from the weekend, plus bring you an in-depth preview of ABC's Monday Night Football. And speaking of ABC's Monday Night Football, what a matchup from Miami. The Buffalo Bills taking on the Dolphins. Dan Marino trying to lead the Dolphins once again in the AFC. A key matchup. Monday nights, ABC Football, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, live. Now, a lot of questions about these leaders and their tires, and can they make it? Who will and who won't? First, let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, Gary Layton now sits in 2nd place. This is the right front tire off of his car, just taken off this last pit stop. Look at the inside. You can see the cord. They may have gone a little overboard on the camber, not really sure, but this is with 30 green flag laps right now. There are 39 laps remaining in the race, so these guys would like to see this caution last another 9 laps, because if it doesn't, more than likely they're going to have to pit for right side tires before this race is over.
Our AutoZone race recap here will show you that our leader, Frank Kimmel, has led 58 of 123 laps. There have been 10 lead changes, 7 cautions for a total of 52 laps. That's why the average speed just 105.051 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, Andy Hillenberg, Frank Kimmel, Harris Devane, Mark Gibson, Ed Barrier, and one more leader, that Gary Layton, has led 8 laps. Off track, Brian Kahn still working on his 06, trying to get back on the racetrack. And out of race, These drivers are out of race, including Joe Cooksey, the latest car to have an impact with the concrete down in turns 1 and 2 to bring out caution number 7. We'll come back with a restart from Atlanta Motor Speedway in just a moment.
Constraints. We now move ahead in this ESPN program.
Our Speed Road coverage of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series season finale, Reese's 400 from Atlanta Motor Speedway, is being brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires, and by Texaco, a world of energy. Under the 8th caution flag today here on lap 129. See if we can show you exactly what happened.
Well, we're riding along with
Josh Baltus. And up here somewhere is a little white car. That's Jimmy Kitchens. Watch as he goes down in the 3rd corner. As he comes on 4 right there, just loses control. Around he goes. And Josh Baltus says, please don't come back across the racetrack. And fortunately, Kitchens did not. There we see him sliding down, and he just missed that inside wall. Tell you what, if he'd hit the wall where the flagman was standing, I think there'd been some pretty good contact, serious damage to that car, but he just touched it with the right rear.
And did not lose a lap on that incident in and of itself. Currently being shown 9th overall, driving a car they got from Bobby Allison with a Robert Yates engine. The Dunlop Golf sponsorship on the side of Jimmy Kitchens' machine as we get set for green flag.
Green flag, green flag.
30 laps to go this time when they come by the stripe.
Kimmel in 2nd spot. Here's Barrier. He's the black car in 3rd. The number 1974 is a leader. Barrier says, okay, I'll take 2nd spot from Kimmel. Kimmel says, no, I don't think so.
Tell you what, Frank Kimmel has a pretty good handling race car to run on the outside groove around 3 and 4 the way he has. But these two cars, as they battle side by side, the problem is that the leader, Gary Layton, is saying, see ya. Well, now Barrier maintains 2nd spot, clears that position.
Riding along with Kimmel's roof cam. That white car up front is the leader. Layton. 2nd is Barrier, the 90 car. Kimmel is 3rd. Good run by Kirk Shelmerdine in 4th spot, the car number 3. In 5th is Mike Cicchetti. All on the lead lap.
On board with Kimmel there, you see Synergen Oil was one of the sponsors of the onboard camera here, and Kimmel kind of taking a little bit of a different line, Benny.
Yes, he's running a little bit higher on the racetrack than these other cars. The split fire snapshot of Gary Layton started 28th. He's currently 1st, and the lowest he's been was 28th, obviously where he started.
34-year-old driver from Albemarle, North Carolina, only his 5th ever ARCA start. Already has 1 victory.
There we see the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
That's fine. I'm sorry, go ahead, Benny.
Kirk Shelmerdine in the 3 car and being overtaken and passed by Ducati in the 17. And here goes Hillenberg in the 80 by. Harris Devane is trying to go by. Here comes Mark Thompson, the challenge.
Quite a surprise to see Mark Thompson running back where he's at today, guys. So far in 1997, when we've had a super speedway race that we've covered here on ESPN, Mark Thompson's been right up there battling for the lead, and his car is definitely off today.
Yeah, 2 wins in 1997, 1 at Charlotte, 1 at Michigan on ESPN, his first 2 career victories. And the car of Ed Barrier being shown in 2nd spot. Got trapped in behind some slower cars. Momentarily had to back out of the throttle. Is now back in it. Lost some ground to the 74.
Lost 2nd place also, Jerry. Moved from 2nd back to 3rd.
They can show you what happened a moment ago to Ed Barrier when he was running in 2nd spot.
There we see the slower car. There we see the 46 going by on the outside. And he just did not want to take a chance as he ran across the 24 car of Chuck Weber.
Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
He must have just got caught in behind somebody. Crew chief down here in Linville, he's looking at his stopwatch when he come back. It was a second and a half slower than anything he'd seen. He checked another guy's watch to make sure it was right. He just got trapped in behind somebody and just decided to play it safe.
Kyle talking about John Paul Linville, the crew chief for Ed Berrier. John Paul, a pretty good short track campaigner in his own right for many, many years up in western North Carolina, Hickory Speedway and Asheville Motor Speedway. Now calling the shots for Ed Berrier.
Boy, what a season this would be for number 74, Gary Layton, Jerry, if he was able to hold on and win this Reese 400 today here at Atlanta in 5 starts in 1 season in ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series, win 2 super speedway races. That's incredible.
Well, that's impressive. Last year he won 11 out of 18 starts in late model stock cars at the Concord Motorsports Park. So hadn't been racing very long, but what he has been successful.
Josie Harris Devane that time at the second or third fastest speed as he tries to close in. He's led 18 laps, started 29th. Lewis after the start was 24th as he tries to work on Hillenberg. Giacchetti 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Well, Harris Devane only running a handful of events this year. He was co-rookie of the year in 1995 along with Dill Whittemore. Came very close to winning a race at Talladega. Ran out of gas on the very last lap. He said that's been the heartbreak of my motorsports career because I could have won at the biggest super speedway we race on.
Well, guys, this is an incredible battle back here. All these guys fighting for that position. But up front, Gary Layton is now starting to spread out his lead on Frank Kimmel and Ed Berrier. I think that margin between first and second is starting to widen.
Mike Giacchetti, the car number 17. The Hughes Supply Chevrolet, the 80 of Hillenberg, the 33 of Devane. Thompson is the black car, left side of your screen. Black and white numeral number 66. 20 laps to go on a chilly afternoon at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Talked with Andy Hillenberg a little bit before the race, guys, and he told me he's been doing some testing in the IROC cars. He's been out in California and Texas, and so he's had a chance to be behind the wheel a little bit. But he said, man, this time from when the Atlanta race is over until you get down to Daytona in February sure seems like a long time for a driver.
If he can drive the IROC cars and test all winter at Daytona, Michigan, and race and tracks they're going to run next year, it will be a very short winter for Hillenberg.
See Mike Giacchetti in the car number 17 there. He was a former Winston Cup crew member for Rick Mast. And Rick drove the number 1 car for Richard Jackson and for Alan Kowicki when he drove the car number 7. That's where the number 17 came from, on the side of his car. Now the big concern with the car number 74 is, can he make it on the tires? John showed us how the tires were wearing before. John, what are their thoughts?
Well, I just talked to some of the crew members, and they say, yeah, that last caution, we think we may have gotten enough laps out of that to save the tires. Plus, Gary's kind of changed the line, driving a little bit different line around the racetrack than he was earlier in the race. They think he's going to save that right front, and he should be okay. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, Frank Kimmel's going to the end. He's got plenty of fuel, and they think the tires are going to live that long. He is having that problem with a miss in the engine again. And his set of tires last time out, that was the worst wear he's gotten so far today. But Jeff Lemons just told him, save the car, we can make it, unless the right front goes bad. They're going for the win. Kyle Petty.
Same here from Ed Berrier's pits. They looked at the tires. He's been getting great tire wear all day long. They weren't as concerned, but the last caution, it took it right out of their mind. They're not worried about it in the least little bit. They've told Ed he's plenty to go till the end of the race to go as hard as he can.
All right, the laps are winding down. They are set to go. All three think the tires were going to make it. Question is, can Gary Layton hold on? And at car number 74, could Kimmel catch him and get his first super speedway win? We'll find out when we come back. This shot from high above Atlanta Motor Speedway here in the late laps of the Reese's 400, courtesy of the fine folks at Pennzoil and our Pennzoil Copter Camp, giving us a panoramic view of this gorgeous 1.54-mile facility here in Hampton, Georgia. Our leader, as laps are winding down, car number 74, 34-year-old Gary Layton from Albemarle, North Carolina, trying to get his second victory in ARCA competition in only 5 starts here in 1997.
Gary Layton has a 4.5-second lead right now, but it doesn't seem like he's slowing down. As a matter of fact, the last lap, he ran 178 miles per hour, the fastest lap of any of the cars on the lead lap.
And Bill Weber's been following Frank Kimmel's success, or progress, I should say. Bill, what's going on with Frank?
Yeah, well, I think both his progress and his success for today are pretty much over, Jerry. That miss has gotten very, very bad. He has been passed by the 90 car. Kimmel simply trying to make it live to the finish now, bring home a top 5. And now Mark Thompson going around Harris Devane. So some guys trying to pick up track position here in the closing laps. But it doesn't look like Frank Kimmel will be able to make a run at that big win here today.
Boy, what a shame. Bill was telling us earlier about the miss they had. Apparently it has gotten worse. There are the 17 and 80 cars. That's Mike Cicchetti. In the 17, the 80s, the 1995 ARCA champion Andy Hillenberg. They are 4th and 5th.
This is probably the best battle on the racetrack.
Hillenberg had about 3 laps of practice on this racetrack before they got started, guys. So I think any of these guys that get done with this race today and put their car in the trailer and go home and say, we did pretty good for all the more they knew about it before this race started.
As you can see on our pylon, 10 laps to go. When these guys get by the start-finish line, it will be 9. The leader has just crossed the start-finish line, so you can see the advantage that Gary Layton has on these 2 cars here, the 17 of Cicchetti and the 80 of Hillenberg. Hillenberg now is going to try it on the outside. Nope.
38-year-old Mike Cicchetti in the car number 17. 10 starts. This is an 11th start from 1997. A 4th at Pocono, a 6th at Charlotte, and a 6th here in the spring in Atlanta. And trying to hang on to 4th place. And it looks like every time they get to a corner, it looks like Hillenberg makes a run, and once again he makes a run, coming off 4.
Well, you really got to trust that driver in front of you, knowing that you're there when you come off the corner. Normally those drivers let that car go out right against the outside retaining wall. Luckily that time Cicchetti did not do that and allowed Hillenberg to make the pass on the outside and move into 4th spot.
And as Hillenberg has made that move to change that position, another car has gone a lap down on the racetrack. That's the 3 car of Kirk Shelmerdine, who has now gone a lap down to the leader, Gary Layton.
And Frank Kimmel is still hanging in there. He's closed up. He's right on the back bumper of that barrier. And Gary Layton is getting slower and slower.
Gary Layton just hit the wall. Just hit the wall. The leader is in the wall in turn number 3.
Bring it on back. Come on, you race back.
And they're
past him. You got it. You got it. Keep coming. You're lap car on the bottom. Pick him off of that lap car.
And here's the battle for 2nd place to the caution flag.
Go.
For first place.
For the caution
Good move,
flag.
Frank. Good move. Good move. Okay, you got 6 laps left. We may or may not get the green again.
That is Larry Clement, the spotter and co-owner of the car number 46, telling his driver, great move, Frank Kimmel. He made the move by the 90 car and raced back to the caution flag as the leader.
And Jerry, you had mentioned earlier that they do not race back to the flag in ARCA, and that is true except when it's inside 10 laps to go, because that may have just determined the winner of this race. So they did the right thing there. Kimmel was very observant of the caution, but he still beat Barrier back to the line.
And remember, John Curtin told you about the tire wear they were seeing on the 74 car, and that they had told their driver, Gary Layton, he'd been told to try his darndest to save that right front tire. And here, with just 5 laps to go, he is in the wall in turn 3.
Here we see him going down the backstretch. And Ray Dunlap, you saw it a moment ago.
Yeah, he was going down the backstretch. It looked pretty like he was just on cruise control, Benny. And then all of a sudden, the car starts to push up. And it made slight contact the first time, and then he stayed up against the wall. Wasn't a real hard hit, but it's hard enough to mess that car up.
Now, while that was happening, Benny, let's watch the battle for the lead between the 90 and 46 back to the yellow flag.
The 90 car backed off just a little bit, and Frank Kimmel did not back off. Drove in on the outside, thinking, hoping that Gary Layton would stay up against the wall. He did, and he was able to get by the barrier car and take the lead.
Well, there was our leader. What a great run for that young man, the Tampico Citrus Punch machine. As he heads back to the garage area, Gary Layton was a leader with 5 laps to go, but scrapes a wall on lap 156 to bring out caution number 9. Back with the final laps from Atlanta Motor Speedway in just a moment. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway at Hampton, Georgia, we're going to have a 2-lap shootout. Now, folks, 4 of the top 6 cars in the lead lap have pitted. Only the top 2 did not stop for tires.
Okay, those 6 on the outside, those cars are in the lead lap. They are battling for the win.
It'll be lap 160 when they take the green flag. 162 will be checkered. 3 miles, 2 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
The third-place car, the red-white car from Harris Devane, stopped. He has 4 fresh tires. Can they keep him back there with those fresh tires? Kimmel gets a good jump on the 80 car of Hillenburg.
Remember, Frank Kimmel has the miss, the possible spark plug wire arcing in the corners, missing between 3 and 4, down in 1 and 2.
Most of the day, guys, we've seen Hillenburg running back for 5th or 6th, and I'm not sure his car's handling well enough to go up there and make a pass for the lead on Kimmel.
What did you say? Here comes Hillenburg like he is shot out of a canyon. Where did he come from? White flag is in the air. This is the last lap.
Andy Hillenburg, half a car length, 3 feet. Out of turn 2, will pull to the inside. Devane is his graphic partner.
Keep it right on the bottom, Frank.
Spotter telling Kimmel, keep it on the bottom, keep it on the bottom, make him go high around you. Turn 3.
And Hillenburg drives it in there. He's on the inside, they're on the outside.
Keep coming, keep coming.
3 wide, they are door to door for the stripe. Who will it be?
Harris Devane!
And Harris Devane takes the win. There's contact. Hillenburg spins in turn 1. And wow, what a way to finish the ARCA season in 1997. They come across 3 wide, and Harris Devane gets his first career ARCA victory.
And Jerry didn't run out of fuel.
How about that? He said, my heart was broken when I ran out of fuel at Talladega 2 years ago with 1 lap to go. And that's why I don't really have the money to run much anymore. I'm just a Georgia peanut farmer. Well, today, he is a winner at his home state track, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And he had never led at this racetrack, Jerry, and you only have to lead 1 lap, and he led her as he came across the checkered flag.
Here we go as the 46 car. Kimmel is trying to keep the 80 car high. That gives a spot to Harris Devane on the inside. He almost loses control there, almost makes contact, but he doesn't. Here they come by the line. He gets a good run off the corner with those fresh tires, and that's how close it was, folks. And watch as these cars go on down in the corner. Hillenburg makes contact with 46 and goes up, and believe it or not, backs in the fence after the race is over.
And you think Harris Devane wasn't happy. He just came down a moment ago, Benny, stopped at the start-finish line here and going to turn some celebratory donuts in front of the home state fans. And these folks in Georgia got to love this. A peanut farmer from Cuthbert, Georgia is the winner.
Way to go, Harris.
What a finish.
And he missed victory lane. He can't find victory lane. Oh, I guess he did go. He's went in. You go in the other side. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. He knew where he was going. I didn't.
Well, he's having so much fun. He just can't wait to get in there. Harris Devane only his 4th start in 1997. He finished 11th at Daytona, 6th at Talladega, 5th at Atlanta back here in March. And today, in the season finale for the 1997 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar year, he gets his first career victory.
Congratulations to Harris and his wife Jennifer and the whole family there. C.L. Jones is the car owner. They competed on the entire season just 2 years ago and weren't able to get a win, but today they do it.
Well, let's go down to victory lane and Bill Weber.
Well, Harris Devane has finally made it to victory lane. And on Sunday, it's the Winston Cup. But today, it's the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, and Harris Devane is going to enjoy some of those. Being congratulated by his crew, his family. Helmet still on, straps coming off. And pandemonium here in victory lane after a wild, wild finish. The gloves coming off. It's one excited young man in there. What a wild 3-wide finish. Devane sitting in the car, unstrapping his helmet. A look at the top 15 and the guys at the front providing the excitement at the finish. And this new track here at Atlanta baptized in spectacular fashion with a wild finish here and a great conclusion to the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. And Harris Devane getting ready to climb from the car here in Victory Lane. Still shaking hands. And here he comes. And you knew this would be good. Hey, local boy makes good. Congratulations.
Been a long time coming, man. It's great to be here at home, too.
Tell me about the finish, Harris.
Well, as Mike, I told CL, I said, we got to get tires. We got nothing to lose. We're the last car on the lead lap. I said, let's go get 2 tires. And I've been loose the last set of tires we had was really loose. So put me around the wedge in and 2 tires, and it'll be paid off.
Obviously, you guys gambled and it won. This has to feel great.
It feels great, man. It really does. It's been a long time coming.
And I know those van rides to those races in Pocono have been very much fun, but this is the reward, isn't it?
It's really pays it all pay off.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Harris Devane with a great win here in Atlanta.
Well, what a great way to start the weekend. Championship weekend here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tomorrow we begin at 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, RPM today, followed by our 1-hour special NASCAR today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then our live flag-to-flag coverage, the curtain call for the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season. It is the Napa 500. Then post-race, NASCAR today at 4:30. Then we'll wrap it up with RPM tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Don't forget, coming up next, Sports Center. Wrap up of all the motorsports action and college football highlights from around the nation on this spectacular Saturday on the Total Sports Network. We congratulate Harris Devane, his first ever ARCA Series win, and we congratulate Tim Steele. He is the 1997 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series champion. For Ray Dunlap, John Kernan, Bill Weber, Kyle Petty, and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch saying congratulations to a peanut farmer from Cuthbert, Georgia. He gets his first win in front of the home state fans, and these folks in Georgia are loving every minute of it. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long, everyone, from a chilly Atlanta Motor Speedway.